In this particular video, I want to discuss the project management icon that we see on the screen. Now here we've got here, create a project group, and that appears on almost all screens. Within Easy As, you have the ability to put all information into categories. So it has a dual purpose, folks. You can use it for project management, such as like a builder or a contractor might have 3 or 4 jobs on the go at one time. So you can create a category that's for 55 Smith Street, for example, and Mr. Park, which lives at Park Road. So you can create a category simply by clicking the icon and create an appropriate category. So I might create Park Road here. 135 Park Road. So that's my category. So I know that any entry which I enter in the system, any expense, any income, any invoices I create which are for that particular job, I can then select and assign that to that project group of Park Road. It's that simple. There is another unique feature that project management can be used for. We know that in the US, if you cross the imaginary line in the sand where you go from state to state or from county to county, there are instances where certain businesses have to record and remit totals of income, sales taxes, etc. that are earned in that county or in that state. So if you're in a business that crosses over different borders, depending upon where you're living, of course, you could end up crossing 2 or 3 different borders. It then becomes very logistical at the end of the year or whenever you have to report this information to be able to obtain it easily from the screen. I know that previously certain people that I know were setting it up in the payment method. They would have a different payment method per state. They didn't care about the check or the cash. To them that didn't mean anything. They preferred to just set it up per state, which could be used for that, so that when they refined it into say I refined that to cash, that could have been New York. They get everything in New York, they see all their totals, and that's how they were doing it. So another way you could achieve the exact same result is with the project group. And the value of this is you can do that for everything in the system. So once you create your project group, whether it's an expense, whether it's on the income screen, you can create it from anywhere. It doesn't matter where you create it, guys. If I created a project group in the expense, it's a project group. See how I created Park Road a minute ago under the expense? It exists for income as well because it's one project group, one name for the whole program. So now that's assigned to, that particular income there is assigned against that particular project group. So what that means is if you have a project group that you've created, it could be New York, for example, because that's you might just call it New York tax or whatever it is you call it. So you know that any time I do an entry, whether it's an expense, whether it's income, whatever it is you have to record, you can record it against New York. Okay, I think that's pretty self-explanatory there, but I wanted to point out that that feature does not have to be used for project management of a particular job. It can be used for project management of your tax across the whole border. And that particular project management facility can be used for any other purpose that you so desire. I know a couple of businesses are using that for 2 different aspects of their business. Rather than setting up 2 different business profiles, they've said, well, I don't want 2 different business profiles. They have 2 aspects of their business. And they've decided, well, I don't want 2 different businesses. I just want to be able to record. It actually happens to be a blind company. They manufacture blinds and they have installers that go out and put the blinds into place. And what they want to do is they want to keep 2 arms of their business separated without having to go through the trouble of separating all the income and expenses all the time. They just want to be able to go in and select which part of the business it's for. And that's what they're using it for. They're not using it for any other purpose, but they have 2 selections here, whether it's creation of the blinds or whether it's installation. And that's how they allot their expenses and income. And it means that for them, the value of it is they don't, that project management, they're using that for their own internal purposes. That's how they want to see if they're making money out of creation of the blinds or making money out of the installation, and they want to see how much profits from each area. But the value of it for them is that when it does come time to report sales tax or anything like that, They don't have to report, they don't have to get two different values out of the system from two different business profiles. They just go to one profile, print it all out, and everything's combined because any project management was in-house. So there's another way you can do that instead of having two business profiles. But obviously, if you have two different businesses, then you're going to have two business profiles, which as we know, we can run up to 5 businesses at one time with the EasyAs software. Okay, I think I've explained the project management. I was asked to come back in and create another video to explain that a little bit more in depth. There is another video which I've created for Trace Records. Now, Trace Records on the main screen has to do with the project management. And this tool here, you can jump in and this refines it from all areas of the program. See how we can see income, expenses, the whole lot. It gathers information from every area in the program. So when you are looking at, such as for a builder, he might do a job at Park Road, which was that one I just entered in. See that? The one I just entered in a minute ago. Then we can see all the expenses and all the income that was attributed to that job. And as we know, there isn't any of these other items because I didn't enter any, because that was the category I just created a minute ago. So see that? So that's a great example of what this screen can be used for. But there is another video on that, and I suggest that you watch that video. And if we print this report now, it gives us exactly the same information on the screen, but it's going to say project management for Park Road, and it gives us the totals here.